Hey, this is Corey from Wolfpack Woodcraft, and I recently got my GMRS license, my radio license, and I know everybody's going to ask me, why did I choose GMRS and not ham? And so I'm going to talk about that. The main reason that I did not get a ham radio license is because with ham radio, you're kind of stuck only talking to other ham radio operators. And so there's not a lot of ham radio operators in my area. There's not a lot of ham radio operators that I know. There's none that I know, to be honest with you. And so for me, GMRS allows me the opportunity to talk to people on FRS. Meaning, anybody that goes to Walmart, Target, pretty much anywhere, and buys one of these 2-packs of walkie-talkies, I can talk to them, right? And so my whole neighborhood could go to a store, pick up a pack of these, keep one, hand one to someone else, and we could all talk to each other, right? My walkie-talkie is going to have a little bit more wattage, it's going to have a little bit better range, but we're all going to be able to communicate. The other thing is I can hand out a bunch of these things. I can hand out 6 of them, I guess. These are all FRS radios. And so I can hand these out to anyone. It doesn't matter. They can be complete strangers. I don't know anything about them. We're just searching for something. We're just in the middle of doing something where we need to be in communication with each other. I can hand these out, and I can still use my GMRS radio. They're FRS, meaning they're 100% legal, they're 100% following the FCC's rules and regulations. I'm following the FCC's rules and regulations and all the laws, and so no one is in violation of anything, even if I hand all this stuff out. We can all still communicate, we can all still talk to each other, we can all still do whatever it is we need to do, and we're completely following every single rule and regulation that there is. And I think that's the main reason why I chose GMRS over ham. The other thing is, when it comes to the GMRS and ham, they all have the same capability, but the reason I felt I needed the license is because I wanted to always have access to this right here.
The humidity was 27%. The wind was northwest at 7 miles an hour. The pressure was 29 point.
So having access to that weather, no matter what, I can carry this in my car with me. I can have it with me all the time. And so I have access to the weather. One of the things that was really scary is in the town that I was in, it was complete blackout. The entire town, the tornado and the high winds took out a bunch of power lines, and we went 30 hours with no power. Well, in that time frame, when it was happening, we had no power, and so the tornado sirens never went off. There were people that didn't even realize what was going on. They didn't realize the severity of what was happening because there were no tornado sirens, and so they just assumed that, you know, the power went out. It's a bad storm. Power went out. It'll be back on in an hour or two. You know, not a big deal. If they would have had the weather station, if they, you know, their TV didn't work, nothing worked, right? And so they all just were on their phones playing games or doing whatever. They weren't preserving the battery on their phones. They weren't doing what they should have been doing because they didn't hear a tornado siren. If they had the weather, if they had a radio that they could use to listen to the NOAA, they would have known that this is severe. I need to not use my phone. I need to preserve its battery. We need to make sure that we're in a safe space. We need to make sure that all these things are happening, because even though the tornado sirens aren't going off, doesn't mean that we're safe. It just means that they're not working sometimes. And so that's why I felt it was important for me to get my GMRS license. This is something that I plan to use and get very familiar with, and so that's why I got GMRS license. And I know the next question that I'm going to get a lot, so I'm just going to answer that right off the top too, is what's the point of even having radio in a world with cell phones? Right? The cell phone gives you the same weather, the cell phone tells you all the same information, the cell phone you can call way further, you can do way more with your phone than you can a radio, which is very true. But the difference is when we were cleaning up and when we were collecting debris and cutting down trees and processing all that wood, we were constantly walking all over the place looking for each other. It would have been way easier to just go, Mom, where are you? Dad, where are you? Caroline, where are you? And then just gone straight to them. Or on the flip side of that, it would have been a lot easier to just go, Mom, when's lunch? At 12:30. Okay, I'll keep doing what I'm doing until 12:30. Instead of walking around, doing whatever. Or, Mom, when's lunch? I don't know, I haven't thought about it. Well, you want me to order pizza? I can order pizza and have it here in probably half hour. Yeah, that's a great idea. All right, let me do that. And I can order the pizza, and they can keep doing what they're doing, and I can do what I need to do, and it just would have been so much easier, and we wouldn't have wasted so much time walking around just trying to find each other. The other thing is, so we had no power. We didn't want to use our cell phone because we were trying to preserve the battery. Right? So a walkie-talkie would have allowed us to preserve the battery on our phones while still being in communication with each other. But let's pretend there is power. Okay? We can charge our phones, we can do whatever we need to do. It's still nice having this, because if we're in the middle of the woods, or if we're walking around the neighborhood, if we're helping or doing something, playing paintball for any reason whatsoever, where we need to be in communication with each other, and I'm talking on this thing all day long, and the battery dies, I still have my phone, which means I still have GPS. I still can call whoever I need to call. I can call 911. I can order pizza. I can do whatever it is I want to do. Even though I've been talking all day, I still have all the capabilities of my phone. If I don't have a radio, and I've been talking on my phone all day, and my battery dies, well, now I have no GPS. I have no way of contacting anyone. No one has a way of contacting me. All those capabilities are lost until I get it plugged back in and charged again. Right? And so it's just a good way of staying in contact, staying in communication, and it's one of those 2 is 1 and 1 is none. Right? If all you have is your cell phone, and that the battery dies or it breaks or something happens to the cell phone, I have a backup. If something happens to my radio, I still have my cell phone. I still have a way of communicating. It's just a way of guaranteeing that no matter what happens, you always have a way of reaching out for help. You always have a way of staying in communication with people. You always have a way of gathering information. And so for me, I think that a world with cell phones still needs to have radios and walkie-talkies in it as well. So, thank you so much for watching. Leave any knowledge or questions in that comment section down below, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. And I need some water. Talk a lot.